Hey, welcome to Geek Salad, our review of My Hero Academia episodes 6 and 7. I didn't just realize I didn't put in a greeting there, but whatever. Uh, I'm Mike,
I'm Joe.
and so we're doing the two episodes that really kind of kick off not really kick off, but really kind of defines the beginning of the rivalry between hero Izuku and other hero Bakugo. So episode 5, Rage You Damn Nerd, and episode 6, Deku versus Kachan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so episode 6 starts where episode 5 pretty much ended with Deku still trying to make it through those tasks.
The initial quirk tests that Aizawa threw together.
And knowing that the one that comes in last place will be expelled immediately.
Yeah, so you're led to believe.
And Deku comes in last place, and he is not expelled immediately. As Aizawa puts it, it was just a rational way to get each of you to do your very best.
Right. You just wanted to pull the best out of the students, and like he explained to All Might, as he's walking away, it's like he would have failed them if he saw that Deku had no potential. He would have expelled him.
Yeah.
So he said he has potential. That's why that's why he kept him, because he saw potential in him.
Oh yeah. He absolutely would have expelled him.
And really, that's what it kind of you really kind of see that in these two episodes is what Deku's potential really is.
Yeah.
Again, you learn that he still can't use one for all to its fullest extent. He has to be able to know how much he can use. So he still has to rely on his wits and his strategizing and himself as a person, and that really comes through in these two episodes, and you really see it in the next, in episode 6, and you see the two styles of Bakugo versus Deku, and how what the evolution of that relationship is going to be.
Right. One thing I will say about Aizawa's decision not to expel Deku or Izuku, it's just easier to call him Deku at this point.
Deku, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, he likes it because Ochako calls him Deku. So,
in fact, that's played out in this episode actually. Episode 6, yeah. Yep. It's like, he explains that, he calls me Deku to make fun of me because in Japanese, Deku is another way to look at a couple of the kanji in Izuku's name. Right. And Deku basically means useless.
So you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Where Ochako misreads it and says it means you can do anything.
Yeah, it means useful, or yeah. And so instantly he's like, "Oh, Deku, it is."
Right. Oh yeah.
What must you eat is like, what the hell?
Yeah, the cute girl started calling me by my by my bully's name. Yeah, okay, I'll take it. Sure.
But I was about to go through about with Aizawa. I think what was interesting is that if Deku had still used his whole arm to throw the ball, it basically would have been showing Aizawa he hasn't learned anything. His power is not progressing. He is stuck where he is. There's no future. But by showing that he can send all the power to his finger, it's showing he can progress. There is, there is forward momentum with his power usage.
Well, he showed that he could learn in that moment. He thinks in the moment. Tactically in the moment, he can change and think in the moment and say, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
At that moment,
it's all I can do right now, but it is something, and that show.
In Aizawa's mind, because of what happened during the entrance exams, is like it's all or nothing, and that's what everybody thinks. It's all or nothing. Deku can only use it. He can use his power, but it's going to leave him incapacitated.
Right.
So on the spot, Deku thought, well, what if I just concentrated it all onto just one spot? Yeah, I'll break my finger, but it's a broken finger is better than broken legs and a broken arm.
I'm still standing.
I'm still standing. That's what he said. So it showed, and again, like Aizawa said, it showed the potential that there is potential in this kid. He can think on his feet. He knows what he has to do.
Yeah, which is another reason why Aizawa is so awesome.
So he's my favorite character. That and the sleeping bag.
Yeah, at first I thought he was just a caterpillar.
It's funny because for somebody who that they try to play, somebody who tries to play off as such a serious character. I mean, when he used his wrappings to stop Bakugo from attacking Deku, he's like, "Stop making me use my powers. My eyes are drying out." That's the thing. When he uses his power, he has to maintain eye contact, and apparently it dries out his eyes.
Yeah.
So he always has eye drops. But he says, "Stop making me use my power because it's drying my eyes out." It's like, okay.
And all the kids are like, "Dang, because that's kind of cool power." Yeah. It's the one power that can actually stop one for all. So
right.
That is a pretty powerful power.
Yeah. Pretty useful.
Yeah. But goes home, and then the next day it's battle training with All Might himself.
Yep.
And I just love how everybody in the class, everybody is just like, "Oh, look, it's All Might! I can't wait! Oh, he's still in his silver age costume. That's so cool!" It's like everyone in the school in the class idolizes All Might, and that's just really awesome to see.
But it's also a reflection of the society that they're in. Where heroes are, their popularity is a big part of who they are as heroes.
Right. It'd be like having
he walks in wearing his flashiest costume, which is the real flashy with the stripe, the stripes with the big yellow cape flowing behind them. So All Might plays into it. But it doesn't diminish who he is as a hero. But he plays into it. And he enjoys that. He enjoys.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like say having Superman as your homeroom teacher. Every day.
No, you know what it reminds me of? It's that the scene at the end of Shazam, where Billy and the family are sitting at the at the lunch table, and who walks in? One
the big old ass.
Well, not Billy. It's Freddy. Freddy's sitting at the table. Who comes in? Shazam. Shazam or Captain Marvel. Shazam walks in, and who comes in with him? Big Blue himself. And then all the kids in the school are like, oh, it's them. And it's that exact kind of feeling. Like when you're even in a society of superheroes, when the big man walks in, everybody stops and looks.
Yeah.
And it's like I always said, I mean, My Hero Academia does a better job of Superman than DC Comics has in this day and age, because that's the way Superman used to be. Before everybody started getting this Batman fetish, it was when Superman walked into the room, everybody stopped and listened. Now it's everybody's got a fetish for Batman.
Yeah, although it's
still with daddy issues.
I do also I always laugh when he that line when he says when he comes in, "I'm coming through the door like a normal person."
Yeah, and he just like walks in like, "I'm coming in like a normal person." Like, okay,
everything's just got to be a grand gesture.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but that's his character.
Yeah, that's one of
stuff like that. So
that's one of the reasons we love All Might so much.
Yeah,
but then we also get all the kids get their costumes.
Which is kind of funny because and again it's a good reflection of who Deku is as a person versus everybody else, who really kind of I don't want to say, I mean, they all put thought into it, but a lot of them like very much played into who they are, what their quirks are and stuff like that. Like Bakugo's is very much in line with who he is as what his quirk is, who he is as a character too. Because I mean, you think about it, he's basically a grenade without the you pull the pin, he's going to explode. Basically what he is, and that's what his costume is. He's got two giant gauntlets that look like two grenades. Whereas Deku, because he came up with his costume when he was quirkless, it's a very kind of simple, very utilitarian costume. And the fact that it was based on the track uniform that his mom gave him, it's it very much gave me a feel from Kick-Ass. If you remember Kick-Ass?
Oh yeah.
It's that same thing. It's just the guy put together. He got a tracksuit and made a costume out of it. But because its mom gave it to him, it means everything to him. Yeah.
I also think it's very telling the fact that when he starts it off, his costume. I mean, All Might even notices it. His costume is pretty much just completely based on All Might. Right. And I also like the fact that as each like a kind of upgrade to the suit happens, it's becoming more and more just Deku's kind of his own thing, and less more mirror of All Might.
Right, exactly. He's got especially like the mouth guard. It's just a smile, a huge grin. Toothy grin. But again, like you said, as it goes on, you start seeing it. He loses basically the mask. Doesn't wear the mask anymore. The helmet. It's just he's lets his face be out there. So, and again, like you said, as the costume gets rebuilt and torn apart and rebuilt, it becomes more Deku's than it is.
Yeah.
Becomes his own, basically, is what it is.
Right. And in each of the characters has their own kind of unique flavor to their costume. I mean, Ida's just looks badass because it's based on his family.
He looks like a knight in armor is what he looks like.
Exactly. And
plays into his character as somebody who views themselves as a very chivalrous and kind of, somebody who has to uphold the tradition, very noble kind of person.
Right. And of course, we've got Todoroki, ice completely covering his heat side.
His flame, yeah.
And we'll understand more about that coming next season.
More of that in the next few episodes.
Very much so. And Ochako in her accidental skin tight costume, which Mineta has no problems with.
Of course not. He's a problem child.
And Mineta also doesn't have any problems with Yaoyorozu's costume either.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's the hero teams versus the villain teams, and of course, who starts it off but the hero team of Izuku and Ochako versus the villain team of Bakugo and Ida.
Yep.
I mean, what better way to kick these things off, right?
And again, like you said, this is Deku and Bakugo's relationship made real, personified.
Right.
And it's like, and really, this is just the start, because it just intensifies and intensifies as the season goes on for the next couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And they really did a good job. Again, Bakugo does not come off as a good person in these two episodes. Not at all. And you can kind of see hints, like when they did the flashbacks of when they were kids. I mean, Bakugo was always bullying Deku, no matter what. Even before he got his quirk, he was always bullying Deku. But then when he got his quirk and people were saying how amazing he was, instead of correcting his bad behaviors, it just amplified him.
Right.
And he turned that on Deku, basically. Deku became his punching bag. Because Deku was quirkless, he's an easy target for Bakugo to prove that he's superior to everybody else.
And TJ just said that he loves you.
Right, and that just carries on. And again, it does not make Bakugo into a good person. He does not come off as a good person in this.
Nah. TJ just commented that he loves you.
Hi, TJ, I love you too, Bubba.
But yeah, I mean, what's really interesting about the whole battle between Deku and Bakugo, though, is that Bakugo does not come off as a good person in this one, but he also doesn't come off as just a reckless, destroy anything at all costs. I mean, he says, as long as he gets out of the way, this won't kill him. And he's not trying to kill Deku. He's just trying to prove to Deku that he's useless and that Bakugo is infinitely better.
Right. He wants to humiliate Deku to the point where Deku is no longer he wants to humiliate Deku to the point where Deku quits and Bakugo no longer sees him as a threat to his superiority.
Right.
And yeah, he does learn. Like when they first start the fight, you really kind of see Deku's kind of hey Bubba.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi TJ.
Hi Mike.
Daddy and Mike will work. All right, Bubba. Okay, thank you.
You little Izuku there.
He loves My Hero Academia. He's been watching it every day since
Good taste.
Yeah, he does have good taste. But no, like when the fight starts out, you see Deku's kind of his otaku that's kind of come through, where he's been studying Bakugo all his life, so he knows this kid's quirks in and out. Pardon the pun. So he knew what Bakugo's first move was going to be, and he was able to use that against him without having to use his quirk. And that's what I mentioned earlier, where Deku's this episode really showcased who Deku is as in terms of who he is as a person without having the type of hero he can be without having to use his quirk.
Right.
For like this episode and most of the next episode, he didn't use his quirk at all.
Right.
He managed to keep pace with Bakugo just on his smarts alone, knowing who Bakugo is, what he was going to do, what his tendencies were, and he played them perfectly. And the reflection of that is that it pissed Bakugo off to no end.
Yeah,
that's what he hates. Is like, how can this quirkless nobody, somebody who for his entire life had no quirk whatsoever, how can he supposedly be better than me?
Yeah. I think what really kind of pissed Bakugo off most is that, Izuku was never anything to him. He was just like a peon that he could throw away but now suddenly Izuku is proving that he actually has the skills to be something more than a peon. And the fact that Bakugo didn't see it the whole time, I don't know if it pisses off Bakugo more that Deku is more than just a peon, or the fact that Bakugo didn't actually see it himself. So I'm not sure if he's madder at Izuku or if he's mad at himself and he's just amplifying that on Izuku.
I think he's not mad at himself because I don't think he's at the point where he can see fault in himself.
I'm thinking like subconsciously.
Could be, but I mean, when you think about in the next episode, when they see more of what their interaction as kids, when he fell into the water, when Deku came down. Now, again, this goes to the nature of who Deku is as a person. Is he's going to reach out and help you. It doesn't matter to Deku. It doesn't matter who you are. I mean, for his entire life, he's seen Bakugo as his superior. Somebody who's amazing, somebody who to emulate. Naively, I believe, but but even though, in all senses, Deku felt that Bakugo was superior, he still stretched out a hand to help him. And now, to Bakugo, that is the biggest offense.
Right, because he was acting as if
I don't need your help. You are nothing to me. Why should I accept your help? Type of thing.
Yeah.
And again, that plays into the entire arc of these two episodes. Is like Bakugo went after these guys. It was all about Bakugo. Forget that Ida is part of his team, and that the entire objective was to keep the hero team from getting to the quote unquote weapon.
Yeah.
Once Ochako left, Bakugo forgot about her. She was nothing to him. All his focus was I got to beat Deku and I got to prove that he is nothing. And that was the entire thing. And he lost focus of what the important thing was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It failed. It became it stopped becoming a class and more about I need to put this kid back in his place.
Exactly.
He's trying to get out of it where his place should be.
Exactly. And that's not too. In the episodes, you saw flashes of what Bakugo could become as a hero. I mean, not as a person, but like after their first kind of confrontation in the episode 5, he adjusted because he knew, okay, well, Deku knows what I'm going to do, so I'm going to change my tactics.
Yeah.
So he showed that he can learn what to do and stuff. As a person, he's still,
Yeah, I mean, even
he's Luke Skywalker leaving Dagobah way too early.
Yeah.
Still hasn't learned the lesson.
When they're having their big, confrontation there, and he does that really, quite frankly, awesome move where he adjusts it by, doing that explosion.
Right, when he adjusted in midair and then, blew the explosion onto Deku's back.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the two probably most powerful, or at least smartest kids in the class, Todoroki and Yaoyorozu, both pointed out, yeah, he may come off as a hothead, but he's got a lot of skill and a lot of, technical know-how. He can do skill. He can do fighting.
Right, exactly. And then, but again, he loses sight of the big picture.
Yeah,
and you saw that at the end, where, and again, this is why, again, it goes to show what Deku is as a hero versus what Bakugo is. Deku was willing to sacrifice himself, took a shot to the face, but he got the main objective done.
Right.
And he used Ochako. He remembered he's part of the team. Okay, this is the objective. This is what we got to do. This is how we're going to do it.
Right.
This is how it's going to work. Because he knew what Bakugo was going to do. He knew what buttons to push.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, Izuku is really the flip side of I mean, they're both really kind of parts of the same coin because while Bakugo just saw this as I got to put this kid in his place, Izuku saw this as I have to prove to Bakugo that I'm worthy, but I still have to win this class.
Right, exactly. I still got to meet the objective.
Right, and of course, then we've got Ida and Ochako. Mm-hmm. Ida, the personification of villainy.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's just who Ida is. It's so fantastic.
It is funny. It was funny.
But I mean, it's also great because as gets pointed out in the next episode, which we'll cover again next week, but he is the main one that really kind of won this class. Is that he personified villainy for what it's worth, and he actually thought ahead and worked out he needs to clean up this whole place so that Ochako doesn't have any weapons.
Right. But at the same time, because of Deku was able to figure out, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can use. He put Ochako in a place and a situation where she could use her power.
Right.
With that, in a way that Ida probably never thought she would use.
Right. Yeah. So by working together, they were actually able to complete the objective, whereas Bakugo was on his own and he left Ida on his own.
But again, and then that's another thing is when Deku was talking to Ochako, when Bakugo had him cornered, all Bakugo could see was, "You're ignoring me. Why are you ignoring me? You're ignoring me. This is about between you and me." And Deku is still, okay, this is what we got to do. This is the tactics we gotta employ. So again, It goes to show who they are as people and what they would be as heroes.
Yep. And And yeah, granted, neither one of the heroes ended up kind of standing at the end of this battle.
Especially Deku, but
yeah, but in the end, they did manage to win the scenario, which and that was actually a very excellent place for it to end. Although, yeah, the next episode deals with more about Bakugo and definitely more about where Joe and I kind of disagree about certain aspects of him. But
I mean, you have to remember, up to this point, this is Bakugo's biggest humiliation here.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It wasn't, and it wasn't like he was. Well, he felt like Deku humiliated him before when Deku tried to save him from the sludge villain.
Right.
But that was internalized because that was externally everybody's thought that Bakugo was awesome. Had this awesome quirk and he was brave for what he did, and everybody was yelling at Deku. But internally, he was humiliated. This was a humiliation in front of everybody, the entire class.
Yeah, and as we see in the next episode.
Yeah, with Bakugo, that's not allowable.
Right. But yeah. But again, that we'll go far more into that in the next episodes and next week. So for now, that was Rage You Damn Nerd. I love that title. And Deku versus Kachan. Part 1.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a nice little civil comment down below, and give us a thumbs up. Hopefully, if you didn't like us, give us a thumbs up. You can find us both on Geek Salad podcast, which we do fairly regularly. I think we've got a new episode coming up pretty soon, and that's going to be our big episode 200.
Yay!
Yay! Wish we weren't so separated during that, but we
got to deal with the circumstances we're handed.
Exactly. But we persevere because we're heroes. So yeah, you can find Geek Salad here on YouTube. You can find it on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, but fuck Apple.
Google Podcast, Google Play,
iHeartRadio.
Pretty much anywhere you can, pretty much anywhere you get your podcast from, you're probably gonna find us.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
And
go forth and be nerdful.
Thank you. Plus Ultra.